Hey everyone, and welcome to a Wellness Wheel Wednesday episode. Today I have with me Dennis Taekema, and he is with Forzani Business Solutions. He is an excellent advisor and mentor for business owners. So if you don't have an opportunity to watch the video live, then please just remember to save it. And if you have any questions or comments for either Dennis or myself, you can just add them in the comments and we'll try and address them as we're doing the interview. And if you haven't already done so, just like our page or have some comments about the episode. All right, so Wellness Wheel exists because people often experience a lot of stress in their life. And when there is a lot of emotional stress, it can actually manifest into back pain. So as a chiropractor, most people generally use chiropractic because they are suffering with some sort of discomfort or pain in their neck, pain in their low back. And so they often seek some solutions to the back pain. So when we go through a thorough history, often people focus on something physical that they've done, whether they sat wrong or slept wrong. And it's not always the case that it's physical, especially if the pain is recurrent or of a chronic nature. There might be something a little bit more going on than physical. So we need to look at the chemical environment as well. Maybe their diet is poor, maybe they're not taking enough supplements, but most likely, or more often than not, it's something in the emotional environment. So strong emotions like sad or hurt, frustrated, anger, rage, guilt or shames, or any perceived negative emotion, if you're not processing it, we're not giving out emotion a voice, it can certainly get stuffed. And so the emotions then start to cause all these, something what a chiropractor refers to as spinal subluxation, and they hurt. But they're simply an adaptive mechanism, but they do begin to hurt. And so as we're going through a treatment plan and just adjusting things, it's important to make sure that you get rid of the tension in the spine, and that's my job. But it also is very important to look at some of those emotions and figure out where they're coming from. So for the entrepreneurs who are listening, the womanish and ladies, or just if you're a small, medium, or even large business owners, you might want to tune into this, because business can be fraught with a lot of challenges, and with those challenges come a lot of emotions. So Dennis, what is the most common emotion that you encounter when somebody approaches you for some mentoring, some advising on business?
They're ready to quit. I think the vast majority of people that by the time I get out and touch them or get a hold of them, they're at a breaking point of, I'm ready to walk away from this thing, but I don't think I can because I feel trapped and I've got no idea how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And so then for them, it's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of staring at the ceiling. It's a lot of, how am I going to make this work? We joke about the fact that the day before they up their life insurance policy in case they want to end it all to pay off their debts. Like it's a deeply, deeply emotionally stressful environment to be in. And most people, when they start their business, don't sign up for that.
Right.
They sign up for I wanted the fast cars and the vacations and the family lifestyle, not I'm going to struggle for every single paycheck every single month.
Do you find that, is it typical for business owners to, like, it becomes almost their soul, is who they are as opposed to just a business? And is that something that you help an individual tease apart, that business is a skill and it's really not you?
Well, it's the idea, right? So I get involved in it, you get involved in it, anybody gets involved in a business for first of all, what it does for them, second, what it does for the market. The hardest time people have with that is admitting that their baby's ugly. Right? You're a parent, somebody says to you, hey, you got an ugly child, nobody wants to pay attention to it.
Totally.
And so then
what
business is that way. And the second part of it is the money vulnerability.
Right.
Most business owners end up so financially stressed out, but they don't want to talk to their staff about it. They don't want to talk to anybody else about it. And so then they carry that inside of them. It's just a struggle that's going to fall apart. I feel like I deviated off your question.
Yeah.
But for most people, it's such a personal environment that if the business fails, it's a life failure.
Yeah.
Not a process failure.
So then what is the process? So if someone's coming to you, then how is it that you kind of guide the path or kind of make it, hey, these are skills, let's identify what skills you need improvement on, and how do you take somebody's hand in guide them through that?
When I work with somebody for the first time, if you take a look at any reason why somebody starts a business, it's generally because they want one thing. They want a definition of success for themselves. Now, that success could be more family time. That success could be, I want to take over the world. I want to be the next Richard Branson. Whatever it is, they have a mental definition of success. From that success needs to do three things. One, they have to have money, right? Two, they have to have time. And once they've got money and time, the third thing almost everybody needs is a sense of impact. I'm actually making a difference in somebody else's life.
Right.
If you have the first two but not the third, it leads to a lot of depression, emptiness, and whatever.
Right.
So I figure out from somebody the first reason why they got into it.
Right.
What's that definition of success for them, not mine for them for them.
Yeah.
Then from there, you got to look at the pillars of a business when you create it. Number one is that business going to be profitable? Now, most people just assume if I sell some stuff, I'll make some money on that stuff. So if I buy this coffee for $1 and I sell it for $2, the idea is, well, I've made $2, even though prospectively you haven't, because you still have to pay for the coffee, so you've made $1. So it's understanding how to actually make a profit off your idea.
Right.
Once you've been able to make the profit, the second thing people need to focus on is what kind of processes do I have to put in place to protect my profit? Then finally, it's what kind of people do I need to bring on board who will then follow and improve my processes, all designed to protect that profit. When those things come in line, the whole business just smooths right out.
Yeah.
But too many people focus on one of the three. They don't focus on how to put all three together.
So you said something very interesting, which is maybe your uniqueness. You seem to focus on profit first.
Culture is very much about get the right people and the business comes together.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the skill set. So the majority of people I've talked to who've gone through business school, the feedback they get from the professors is, if I sell enough, profit just comes as a byproduct. If I just do enough work, I'll just start making the money, and it's not true. If it was true, any business that hits $1 million a year, the guy would be phenomenally successful, and they're not.
Yeah.
I've met enough people doing $5 million a year, $10 million a year who are still stressed out financially because the business is just broke at a bigger level.
Yeah.
So the first thing I like to do is sit down and reteach the skill of finance, which is understanding how markups work, how margins work, how you're going to price your product to the marketplace, and then how to get people to buy it at the price you need to make the business work.
Does that often come with a lot of emotions for people? Like money is just like literally, I've identified three of the biggest stressors for people. It's health and beauty. Generally, they get stressed out if they're physically ill or starting to lose their looks. They get stressed out with relationships, like they can't communicate. And money is one of the biggest contributors to stress. So when you say profit, do you often have to, I don't know what I'm looking for, like reteach them that it's okay to have money, you're not a bad person or whatever, or something along those lines? I can see that people have sometimes this love-hate relationship with a universal symbol.
So to bring that in, Denzel Washington asked a very powerful question on a YouTube video one time. He said, well, do you own your cell phone or does your cell phone own you? Right? Meaning that if it goes off, are you running to check it or are you just leaving it alone because it's a tool? A lot of people have that emotional tie into money. So if I look at what's happening in the business financials, I can almost guarantee you what's happening in the personal financials because they carry those habits through.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of emotional tie-in for it. I mean, people will walk to the poker table and brag about hitting $1 million in revenue and then go home and have macaroni and cheese with their wife and kids. Like there's this braggadocio about it. I want to look good. People don't want to talk about it. Money's one of those things you're not supposed to talk about. So it's a highly personal issue. So when we do in the business side of it, it's trying to help people understand that you're learning to build a tool, and that tool is designed to give you a lifestyle. You're not a slave to that tool.
Right. Which is, I think, the absolute critical part, which sounds, really important to identify in particular, and to separate it. It is a tool. It's not you type of thing, which is because money is the biggest stressor for people. So it's really nice that you kind of paint it in a better light, or it's a skill. It's something you can learn. It's not a have or have not type of thing. You can learn it.
Huge.
Which is beautiful.
Well, and it's the vulnerability in it. I think it's really interesting when people approach me for the first time because they need help. They never want to be honest about the actual situation, right? It's like chiropractic. Nobody actually wants to tell you, look, my body's really screwed up and I need help. I have a little bit of pain here. I'm hoping you can help me with, and then your job is to uncover it.
Yeah.
when it comes to numbers, most people in a business already don't know what their numbers are. By the time they get their financials back from the accountant, it's already 6 months past their year end. They're still struggling. They've got no idea what's going on, and they've got no idea why. And so when you start digging into it, there's a ton of embarrassment, right? Like, how come I've spent this much here? How come this isn't working? How come this is falling apart? I don't understand what's happening. And so when their money picture is, nobody's actually given them a solid picture for it. And then as they dig in, it's that embarrassment, it's that fear, it's everything else that's going along with it that we have to work through to help them understand it is just a tool. The number doesn't mean anything. The number that matters in a business is that net profit number, not the revenue number. That's also a hard thing for people to shift. Because if their business can do 20% net profit at $500,000 a year, it's the same money they'll take home as 10% at $1 million, but they'll work less. But they got to separate that stress.
Which is huge. It's that's kind of what I've discovered with business. It's sure, it's, you know, what you said earlier, sell more, make more money, and that should just work. It's kind of like the ingredients, but there certainly is a better recipe for better soup than just a rock in boiling water. So I think that's where some of the magic might happen with by working with you. It's great. Do you have any final words for our...
Stop trying to be everything, right? If you take a look at human beings, if you take a look at the DISC personality profile, there's 4 dominant personality traits. Of those dominant personality traits, you can be a blend of any one of them, meaning that as a human being, you are a blend of different things than somebody else is. There are different languages of appreciation that people go through. There's gender differences. There's all kinds of differences. And people assume that because one person built a business this way, that's the way I have to do it. I got to be them, and I'm going to try to do everything myself. What people fail to realize in business is you're wired a certain way that if you're going to go after it, you have to hire people to fill your weaknesses. So if you're not a good salesperson, you got to find somebody who loves the sales department. If you're really good at data, don't try to be the salesperson because you'll short circuit yourself. You want to get into the data side of it. That being said, you still have to understand the foundations of what makes a business work. Just like health. Once you understand the principles behind health, you can then work to what your strengths are within that to live a better lifestyle. So in business, you still have to know what your numbers are. Doesn't mean you have to be the one doing them, but you have to know what those results are. You have to know how to build processes. Again, you're not the one that has to build them, but you have to know the foundations of what those look like. And it's the same with hiring people. It's how do I bring, of all those different personality styles and types of people, how do I now find the right person to find the right position within my business to help me grow it? The more I try to do myself, the faster my business is going to fail because I'm not wired to do everything. So part of what we do with people is break out for them where their strength set is and do our best to help them delegate the other parts to other people.
So if somebody's interested in doing, do you have a quick personality test that people can do? Or could they email you or something? One
of the best ways to, well, you can email me for one. I can get you guys a basic disc report. The other one would be to go to a website called 123test.com and you can do a free disc report there. That's generally the tool I refer to all my clients just to go through and get a basic understanding of the overview of the personality styles. There's people that are out there that are personality style specific coaches. Like they do run just a disc profile. They'll cost you quite a bit more money. The real trick for you is to figure out in business why you got into it, the strengths you want to add to it, understand who you are in that, and then seek help to fix up the differences. So
that makes sense. It's just
don't. It's like chiropractic. Don't wait till it's too late. Don't wait till you're in the wheelchair before you go and get the treatments done, and don't wait until you feel like, oh, I've lived with this for so long, nobody else can help. Seek the help before you really need the help. It'll fix you faster than trying to turn it around from a really bad situation.
That's correct. We call it the limits of matter. It's kind of once a joint has arthritis, that's it. It's never going to be normal. It can still get worse. So it's better to work on preventing than it is to try and increase the function. So exactly that, you're right. And it's just harder, always harder to fix when something is more given more time to get broken. So identify your problems and call either one of us, be it a business matter or be it a health or a back and neck joint muscle issue. Just get on it. Give us a call.
Before we go there, there's something I want people to understand. I can learn how to do health stuff from a YouTube video. I can learn to do it from reading a book that cost me a little bit of money. I can go to a professional to help me through it. In life, you become what you repeatedly do. So if I go through my life walking a certain way, because that's the way my body's had to adjust because of being in pain, then even after I start correcting the issue, my body's going to default back to muscle memory. I'm going to default back to that, and I got to keep working at it to get it back to normal. The fastest way to get it back to normal is for having somebody help you and guide you through those steps.
Yeah.
Business is the exact same way. There's so many skills you need to learn, and you can learn those from a book, you can learn those from watching a YouTube video, you can learn those from going to workshops and seminars, but the best way to do it is always having somebody that will guide you and walk you through it, because as you're making the mistakes, they can help correct it. And then you'll build muscle memory on top of good reactions instead of muscle memory upon bad reactions.
There is far more parallels between our two industries than I realized. So this is excellent. Thank you.
Great.
Okay, next week we have Jesse, the videographer, and she'll be with us next week. So stay tuned for that. Take care, everyone.
Bye.